Hey there guys, Mitchell here from Broswagger.com, and in this video what I want to talk about is the realities of approaching women during the day. So chances are, for anything like me, you probably see a lot of attractive women out and about as you just go through your day-to-day routines. And a lot of you guys, you've probably even seen the most attractive women when you're at the mall, you're at the grocery store, coffee shop, or you're crossing the street. And for the longest time, I just often wondered, like, what would it take to get some of these women out on a date? And curiosity just eventually got the best of me, and I just had to see, if this whole approaching women during the day thing could actually work. And I just started to think, surely not every woman was taken, and surely not, every woman's going to say no. So as I started to kind of hit my groove with this, I started to find a lot of women were saying yes. And in this video, what I want to talk about is some of the pros and cons of approaching women during the day. So the first pro will start off here, and I actually think that this is the best pro about all of this, is just you can meet women you could have never otherwise met. So let's say you're out grabbing groceries, you see that stunning blonde, she's gorgeous, curves in all the right places, she's just dressed to the nines, and physically speaking, she's your type anyway. So if you could learn how to approach women during the day and she was single, rather than being a woman you go home and fantasize about, you go on a date with her instead, and this just opens up so many more options for guys that you just would have never had, access to begin with. Okay, so the next pro here, guys, is that once you can meet gorgeous women during the day, any other way you meet women will be super easy. So let's say you're using online dating. Once you can do this, you'll just feel so much more at ease, like with the women you meet through online dating. Let's say the bars or clubs are your thing. You won't feel the need anymore to get all boozed up so you can get your liquid courage. And also, if it's let's say a woman that you know through a social circle or social setting, you'll just find it so much easier to talk to these women as well. So the next pro here, guys, of approaching women during the day is that it can lead to extremely high levels of confidence in other areas of your life. So being able to successfully approach a really beautiful woman and get her on a date is, typically speaking, for most guys, it's the hardest way to actually meet women, at least until you get good at it, because, there's no music pumping, it's just you and her one-on-one, so you have to kind of be able to, keep her attention and make her interested. But once you can do this, a lot of guys will probably find that they'll feel so amazing about being able to do this that, they start to wonder what else they're capable of. So maybe as a guy, you take the plunge and start an online business. Maybe you finally ace that interview and get your dream job, or you go back to school and just kind of take that educational program you've always wanted to. So I think with a lot of guys, once they can do this, they'll start to wonder what else they're capable of doing. So the final pro I picked here, guys, is that women actually like to be approached during the day. So there's lots of women out there that they don't have an online dating profile, they don't go to bars and clubs, they're not meeting any guys through their social circle, or perhaps they don't even have much of one. So they would be absolutely delighted to meet you while they're, crossing the street, grabbing groceries, or at the coffee shop. And even if a woman isn't actually an option for you, I think you're going to find that the majority of women are absolutely delighted when you go and approach them. And for most women, it's typically the highlight of their day. So now that we've discussed the pros, guys, let's move into some of the cons of approaching women during the day. So the first one here is that you will get rejected a lot. So I'm not going to sugarcoat things here. It's not that you might get rejected or that you could get rejected. You are going to get rejected, and you are going to get rejected a lot. However, though, guys, at least, I'm going to just ballpark this roughly. Usually about 70% of the time, it's you have no control over the outcome at all, right? So, usually 50% of the time, the women that you approach, they're either married or they have a boyfriend. Then, roughly speaking, another 20% of the time, they are an option, but they're not attracted to you, or they're not interested in you, or they just find it too random. So really, on average, you can only expect of success with about, 3-ish out of 10 women anyways, and this is over time too, so you can get rejected a lot. I mean, you could go out this afternoon and approach 15 random women and easily go 0 for 15, and sometimes this just happens. And even though I said I got a lot of yeses eventually, I was still getting way more no's, so you are going to get rejected a lot. So the next one here, guys, is that you could get labeled a creep or a weirdo if you do this too often. So this will obviously depend on where you live. If you live in a big city, it's less likely you'll get noticed. But when I was learning how to do this, here I am, living in a very small town, and I actually had to take a 45-minute drive just to get, to a place of more abundance so I could practice, as we'll say here. So also live in Canada, and it's, freezing cold basically from, like October to May. So I had to do a lot of my approaches indoors at this mall that had probably about 40 stores in it. So since I was showing up there a lot, it wasn't really that busy. You know, people definitely were taking notice of me doing this. So, you know, again, here I was going into stores all the time, not actually shopping. And funny enough, I actually approached 4 different women that all worked at the same La Senza store, I think over like a 2-month period. So yeah, trust me, people will definitely notice if you start showing up all the time, or, you know, people in general notice if you do this too much in a small area. So next up here, guys, is that you know absolutely nothing about her. So this can be a good and a bad thing. It can be good in some ways because it can be exciting to, you know, get to know a woman. However, it can also be a quite bad thing as well because she might not be the type of woman you want to meet at all. And you can somewhat weed out, like, you know, the types of women you wouldn't want to meet just by the way, you know, they're portraying themselves and such, but one never knows for sure. So I can take a perfect example of this one day. I just got back from the gym. It was a hot summer day and I just went for a walk just to kind of cool off. And, you know, here I am, I'm walking up the street and this cute brunette walks by. So I approached her, got her number, and she couldn't meet up that night, but she started texting me a lot like the next day or so. And everything seemed fine at first, but then I come to find out she worked at a fast food joint. And the real shocker though was when she started sending me pictures of her kissing her pet rats. And needless to say, I did not meet up with her, but you know, just she did seem like a cute girl and stuff. So sometimes you can just really meet women that you don't want to meet at all. So the final con here, guys, is that it can be very time consuming and there's really no guarantees how things are going to play out. Like I said, on average, you're probably only going to have success with about 3 to 10 women to begin with, and that's, you know, it's usually like best case scenario. So, you know, you can just hit a lot of periods where you're just not really meeting those women that fall in like, you know, roughly that 30% bracket of women who could be an option for you. And if you're just not in a very populated area, it can just take a lot of time to find like the women to approach. And I mean, you could go and spend like 2 hours approaching women and really just get nowhere. So keep in mind that it can be very time consuming at times. All right, so just some closing thoughts here, guys. So I truly believe every guy should learn how to do this. I mean, once you can do this, basically any other way you can meet women will be super easy, as I already mentioned. And you know, once you can successfully do this, you'll really just never have to worry about, you know, getting dates or getting a girlfriend for the rest of your life. Yeah, there'll be ups and downs here and there, but once you have this kind of mastered, you know, it's just kind of like the final step, and you'll just be good with dating for the rest of your life. And I mean, life's pretty short too, so I just really believe that if you see a beautiful woman out and about that really catches your eye, I really just think you should go over and approach her because you just really never know what could happen. Hey, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.